Hey everybody, so I'm out here in the nursery this morning, or afternoon, evening, whatever time you want to call it. Looks like evening. It's kind of bright outside today. It was really foggy this morning, but it's turned into a really nice day. I'm out here with the my citrus trees. I'm actually re-recording this part of the video because the last time I recorded it, I had the phone the other direction, and it really screws up my videos. I don't have very good editing. Yeah, I don't have very good editing, so I couldn't fix it. So anyway, I'm gonna re-record it and put it on the other video. So the whole video, basically, I'm showing you all the citrus trees, how I trimmed them up. I got one tree that I did something with it and it didn't work out. So stay tuned and see which one I worked on and what I did and how it didn't work out. There might be another video I'll put out later, but yeah, it didn't work out. So anyway, we'll do it again another time, and I'll take a little bit more time and do it right. So anyway, so yeah, that's the beginning of the video, and here we go. Let's get to work. All right, so I got some azalea fertilizer. I got it at Walmart. So basically, azaleas, they need a more acidic soil also. So like I said, I tried the citrus fertilizer last year, and they stayed about this color all year. There are some obvious pest issues that I've had with them, so I'm going to treat for that later on. But I'm going to add some fertilizer to them now to help out with that part first. But I'm also going to weed them and get out some of these weeds. A lot of times I'll let some weeds grow in them just to make sure that the moisture doesn't get, or I don't overwater them, because the weeds will take up some of the moisture too. I've read that having yellow leaves could either be overwatering or a nutrient deficiency. So I don't think that they're being overwatered, so that's why I think that it's probably a nutrient deficiency. And there's bugs everywhere this morning. It's kind of early still, so they're all out in force because it's still cool. So if I'm wiping my face a lot, that's why, the bugs. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the larger weeds out of here, like taller stuff, keep them off of the branches. I just throw the weeds on the ground. They're going to turn into compost on the ground anyway. And if nothing else, the chickens will come over and eat them off the ground. So I'm going to pull the bigger stuff out. Like I said, I leave some of the weeds in here. I try to get all the leaves out because that attracts pests. The weeds don't so much. All right, just like that. And then I am going to go back and I'm going to cut off all the damaged leaves, like all these leaves. The leaves that have curled up because of lack of watering. So that's something that happens when they don't get enough water, is the leaves will curl up because they're trying to conserve moisture. So they'll curl up to reduce the surface area that's being shined on by the sun. You guys are loud over there. They're coming over to see what I'm doing. Hey, here. Here. I'll move these around a little bit. I'm also going to try and move these guys into more of a shaded area to see if that'll help also. Because maybe the yellowing is due to too much sun also. When you're weeding, make sure you're watching out for the thorns, because these guys have thorns. If you have citrus trees, you already know that, but if not, that's something you should definitely watch out for. They get some gnarly thorns along the branches and stuff. Alright, so I got one more right here with weeds. Hey. Here. I don't know why you guys gotta be so noisy. My finger, dude. These chickens are fun. I don't know if you can see them in the camera or not, but they're all like right here around me. Oh, that's crazy. I think that's a mint plant. They got mint growing around over here, so it just grows up into the pots. Bug in my eye. I love when you get a bug in your eye and your fingers are all dirty. It's the best. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this one. This one is, I think, I'm trying to remember which ones are which now. Some of them, you can tell by the leaves on what they are, like the ones like this, where it's got the leaf, and then it looks like another leaf right here. I hope you can see that. That is a grapefruit tree. So all of these are from seeds. So I'm hoping that they get fruit. I don't know yet. They're only a couple of years old. So it takes about anywhere from 5 to 8 years to start producing fruit on a citrus tree. So I'm hoping that they'll get fruit. And one of these is actually a cutting from one of my mom's trees that is a cutie, one of the little bitty oranges. And I think it's this one. It's doing all right, but it's not doing great. So hopefully the fertilizer will help out so that we can get these guys back to health and get them growing this year. I don't have them in the ground because I wanted to get them all started really good in pots first, and then decide where we want to put them in the yard to put them in the ground. So here we go. Let's see. I'm just gonna put not this whole cup. I'm gonna probably put about, I don't know if you can see how much is in there, about that much in each one. Spread it out. And I'm gonna spread it out over the whole top of the surface of the pot to give it a good chance to get as much fertilizer as I can. All right, got those guys. I'm going to, I've got these ones over here too. These ones I trimmed up not too long ago, so they're actually look better, but I cut off a lot of the branches that didn't look so good. So we're gonna fertilize these guys too. Like that. And this is what the fertilizer looks like. It looks like rocks, honestly, but it's a slow release type of fertilizer. So they'll get fed for a while. And I got these two up here. These two I bought from one of the local garden centers. So they actually produced fruit last year. The year before they had flowers all over them, and then the flowers got eaten by the caterpillars. So I'm trying to keep all the caterpillars off of them. Last year I got three lemons off of this one. This one had a whole bunch of flowers but didn't get anything, so that was sucky. But anyway, so I think that's it for the moment. I'm gonna go grab some scissors and I'm going to trim up each one of these for you, so you can see what you can do to eliminate some of the dead stuff. Ready? Go. Got one of our trees here. I'm gonna check, make sure you can see it. Sort of. There you go. Now you can see it. I know it's not going to be super detailed camera, but I know you'll get the idea, because you can see it's dead. This is all alive. I'm thinking I might just top the whole thing, get rid of all of this, because that looks like more like a pest of some sort is causing this, rather than lack of nutrients, because this grew after this grew. This is all from last year. This is all from the spring or this year. So I'm just going to cut this off because I think that's got some kind of an issue with it. So we'll get the branch cutters out, and I am going to cut off right here to the bottom end of what I think is the issue. And you can see all that. It looks almost variegated. It's kind of cool looking, but it obviously is not healthy. So that's got to go. Put it in the compost bucket. It's going to take a little bit to compost, but it'll be all right. So I'm going to take these guys and fix the cut site there, make it look a little bit better. So now you got that going for you. You see some of the leaves are actually started to curl. Like this one started to curl up. I don't know why they curl that way. Normally when they don't have enough water, they'll curl this way. You can see they'll curl like that instead of curling up like this. So this one's kind of in the way. So I'm going to get rid of all the leaves that are in the way, blocking the new growth and the new leaves. And the ones that look like they're not healthy, I'm going to cut those off too. And I'm going to cut the end of this branch off right here. There maybe. It's got a new little branch growing right here, and it doesn't have any little branches growing down here. So I want to keep growth growing, you know, so I'm going to cut it off up there. These bugs are annoying already. Cut that dead piece off. And this one you can see it had some kind of bug eating at it. I don't know if it was a caterpillar or grasshopper or whatever, but I like cutting those leaves off because it gives room for new leaves to grow, so that the new leaves can have more of the nutrients than the leaf that has an issue. And obviously if you don't have a whole lot of leaves on there, you want to keep as many as possible. This one's got quite a few leaves for the size of the tree. It's got a really cool trunk on it too. It kind of grew out this way and then back around. Hope you can see that. Looks pretty cool. Still got some weeds in here and some leaves. I'm going to take those out, or at least the leaves out. Take the leaves, or the weeds that get big, I'm going to take those out. Some of these weeds stay pretty small, so it's not necessarily an issue. Like the grasses like this, that'll get like a huge clump, and then if I try to take it out later, the roots grow like really long, so it'll take most of the dirt out with it. Looks like somebody caught the pot with the weed whacker. That's awesome. Totally didn't notice that until just now. Anyway, not a big deal. Also, another thing that I do while I'm digging through the pot, pulling out the weeds that I don't want, and I use the tweezers so that I can get the root portion of it instead of just pulling the weed part, because when I do that it pulls more dirt out, and when I use the tweezers it pulls just the weed out and less of the dirt. So I don't know, I was saying something else too. Oh yeah, the other thing that I look for is snails and slugs in the pot, because the snails will cruise along the leaves and they'll eat just the outside of the leaf, and obviously that's really good for the tree. You know, so I take those off as often as I see them. I don't mind having snails like around because they eat the algae off of the benches and stuff like that too. So I don't necessarily kill them. I just take them off the tree and put them somewhere else. All right, so this tree I think looks all right. So that's what I'm going to try and do to all of them, get them all back down to a reasonable size and also reasonable shape. And honestly, I think I'm going to cut this branch off because I just don't like how that looks. I'm going to take it off right here. And sometimes you can save a piece like this and grow a new tree. I don't really have space to do that right now, so I'm going to compost it. Alright, so that one's good. On to the next one. I brought them all in here close so that I can get to them. So this one, I've got this branch right here that's growing out of here, and it's all the way up here. So it's growing this really thick piece right here, which I could either keep this and let this become the tree, or I can cut it back and make it have a more refined shape to it. I like doing bonsai, so that's kind of what I'm looking at with these trees as potentially a large bonsai tree. And I think I'm going to put them in the ground eventually. So doing the bonsai, whether that's going to be something that I continue doing with them or not, but while they're in the pot I want to keep them smaller so that they can grow healthy and strong, and then when I put them in the ground they'll just shoot up really fast. Because this is over one season, this whole branch. It was a tiny little branch like this at the beginning of the season and went like that. So I mean, they do grow fast even in a small pot. So I'm going to cut this off because I just think it looks terrible on this tree. And that is a pretty solid branch. And this also could be used as a cutting. Cut it way back down and put it in the ground and see how it goes. But also this one has a straight piece right in the middle. And I really just don't like that either, so I'm going to cut that off too. It's going to look very sparse for a little while, but it'll grow back really quick. These trees grow pretty fast. And I'm going to take off the damaged leaves. And this one looks like it's got some kind of bug living on the bottom of it, so that goes in the compost. I'm going to take off all the leaves that just look like they've got pest issues. I am looking for pests on the plants while I'm trimming them. This looks like very similar to the other thing. It might be lizard poop actually, so if you want to know what that looks like. Because we've got a lot of anoles out here, which is awesome. They actually keep a lot of the bugs off the plants, which is super helpful. Off the ones that look like caterpillars ate them. And I don't want to cut them all off because I need leaves for this tree to continue to grow this spring. But it is spring, so they should start growing their new growth. This one doesn't appear to have a whole lot of new growth yet, but this should do just fine. I'm going to trim this back a little bit. You don't want to overdo the large cuts because that could cause diseases. So you want to keep them as minimal as possible, but also you want to take care of them now. Make them look good now when you do the cut, so that it heals. And you don't have to recut it later if you can avoid it. You can't always avoid it, but sometimes. So when you're doing a major cut like that, to get the bark to grow back over this, because it will eventually grow back over this, I think I'm going to take more of the edges off, because currently the edges are kind of going out this way, because it had some reverse taper on this branch. So I'm going to try and take all of that off, and I'm going to try and cut it, I know you can't see it, cut it to where it goes down the trunk so that it kind of rounds off, makes it look like an actual tree rather than shrub or whatever. And I know this is a really large cut, but this tree will survive this. So one thing with the bark and the nutrients distribution, so as long as I leave this part of the bark alone and don't damage it on this side, this back side, it might die up to, like right here, it's going to be dead, obviously. It's not going to put any more nutrients to it right here, but it could also produce a another branch out the top, which actually I might do another video on that. I'll leave this tree for a minute and then come back to it so that I can show you something else about grafting on this tree. Alright, so this guy's doesn't have a whole lot going on, so I'm just going to cut off this dead piece here. Just like that. Trim the end of this branch off. And I'm just going to trim the really bad leaves on this one, since it doesn't have a whole lot of leaves on it. So the ones that look like they have a pest issue, I'm going to cut those off. Once they're all curled up, cut those off. At this point, if you don't like the spines, now you can see all the nasty thorns on it. If you don't like them on your tree, this would be a good time to cut them off. Because if you cut them off, that doesn't grow back. It only grows once, so that won't grow back. And you can have a, an orange tree without spikes on it if you'd like to. As it's growing, if you're cutting them off, it makes it a lot easier later on to, maintain the not having spikes on your tree. But if you like them, I like them. So, it keeps animals away from the tree. It deters kids from picking the oranges and lemons too soon. Sometimes. Anyway, so now would be a good time to cut those off if you're going to. This one doesn't have a whole lot going on, so that's about as much as I can do on this one. And move on to the next one. This guy got really tall. This is the one that I got from a cutting for my mom's tree. This piece here grew after I potted it. So, like I said, they grow really fast. When they send out a new shoot, they grow really fast. And I don't particularly like how that is or where that is. And the fact that it's all got all its leaves up here and nothing down here. So I'm going to cut this off really short. maybe I can get some, ouch. Maybe I can get some new branches on there. If not, I'll probably cut that off later. Maybe let the trunk thicken up here a little bit if this does grow. But I could also potentially just leave these branches down here. Not 100% sure on this one yet. Looks like it's got some spider webs up in it. And they're actually spiders, not spider mites. So I'll leave those guys. Yeah, this one's not looking so great. So I'm not going to take any of those leaves off. Well, I'm going to take this one off because it's really damaged. I'm going to take off the really damaged leaves. And that's it. Maybe tip the branches. Take off the dead branches. So yeah, I said I wasn't going to take anything off, and I'm taking stuff off, but these are all like really dead branches, really dead leaves. Clear some room. So there's that. Weeds. Hopefully this one covers from the winter. It's kind of a cold winter this year, so I think that's part of the reason that some of these trees have such issues right now. This one's a grapefruit tree. So you can tell it's a grapefruit because it's got this extra piece on it. The other ones don't have that. Like this is the tangerine or cutie or whatever. See how it's got just the end of the leaf right there? That's kind of how you can tell. Sometimes it's easier to tell if you've got stuff next to each other and you can compare it, or if you just know what you're looking at. This one doesn't look too terrible. You take off some of the leaves that are on the main trunk. Give it some room to take off the ones that are chewed on. The citrus trees, they'll grow a whole bunch of branches in one spot. A lot of times I'll take off the branches that are impeding the rest of the branches. Like again, this is another shoot all the way up here. This is what the tree looked like the beginning of the spring last year, and that thing grew. And I just let these ones grow this year because it was a pretty hot summer, and because they were all kind of yellow most of the year. So I just let them grow, see if they could grow out of it, and obviously they didn't. So I'm going to try something new this year with a different kind of fertilizer. And I am going to revise my sprinkler system. I'm going to get a different timer so I can, I'm going to try and get a timer that I can have it water twice a day instead of just once a day. So I can water them like about when it starts to warm up during the day, so that they can have enough water for when it gets hot, and then cool them down when it starts to cool off at the end of the day, so that they can get another drink of water for the morning. But the later one, I'll make it a shorter duration so that I don't flood them overnight. So you don't want to overwater them, but I want to make sure that they have plenty of water, because I don't want this to happen again. These things take forever to grow substantially. I mean, obviously it shoots really fast, but the overall tree takes quite a while to grow and produce fruit, really. So I don't want to kill a tree before it produces fruit. So there's that one. And this one's got a dead branch here, so I'm going to just take that whole dead branch off right here. go. Get that out of the way. So those will be the 2 branches for now. Got some other branches die off on the bottom here. This one does have quite a bit of new growth on it at the ends of each leaf, so this branch will recover pretty quick. The tree looks like it's going to be healthy enough to recover from the wintertime and from the lack of nutrients or overwatering. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'll be keeping a closer eye on that this year to make sure that these things grow like they're supposed to. It'd be really nice to get some grapefruits out of these. I'm not a big fan of eating grapefruits, but my family is, so that's why I'm growing these. They planted them, so I told them I would take care of them for them. And obviously I'm doing a fantastic job. Just need to learn a little bit more about them. So yeah, this one looks kind of sad. This branch here doesn't really appear to have a whole lot of growth on it, and it's yellowing right here on the branch. So I'm gonna just take that whole branch off. I'm gonna cut it off right here. It does look like right here is a possible node. Hopefully a new branch will grow out of there. If not, we'll just refine this branch and turn this into the trunk, and that'll work out also. See how it goes. And I got one more little guy here. This one was a seed just this last year, I think. And I think this one's a lemon, and the lemons also have that piece there, but it's a little different, so you can tell what it is. Also, if you cut a leaf off and you cut the leaf, you can smell it. Sometimes you can smell actually the smell of what type of fruit it is, which is really cool. So right now they don't smell super fragrant. I don't know if it's because the time of year or what, but they don't have a whole lot of fragrance to them right now. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. I'm pretty sure it's a lemon though. So there's that. And stay tuned to my channel because I'm gonna do a graft on that other tree and see if I can put another branch at the other side of that trunk there. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for upcoming videos this spring. I'm going to be doing a lot more work out here. It's been kind of slow lately because it was wintertime, nothing was really doing much. So it's really going to start picking up here because I got to repot a lot of trees. I got to do a lot of trimming and styling. So stay tuned. See you on the next one. Alright, so I'm going to add this to the end of the video. I just wanted to show you guys the orange trees. They have flower buds on them, which is super awesome. They actually developed these since the last video that I made, or the last part of the video when I made it. So I just thought that was really cool. They're all over the place. Hopefully the bugs don't eat them. I'm going to try and keep the bugs off of them. Now I'm all shadowing everything. So yeah, it's really cool. They're actually looking pretty good. They're actually looking a little bit greener than they were before. So it looks like the fertilizer worked. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day.